On today's episode of the Tweet Show Podcast, we got a pretty fun episode, I think. I got a lot of things to talk about. We're going to recap game ones of the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. We're going to recap who won the NBA draft, or the NBA lottery, I should say. Not the NBA draft, because the draft hasn't happened yet, but we all know who won the NBA lottery. We'll talk about that in just a moment, and then we got a couple other people I want to mention. So with that being said, let's get started with today's episode. All right, so I think we'll start with recapping both game ones, the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Game two of the Western Conference Finals tonight with the Lakers and Nuggets. But we'll recap first is the Eastern Conference, because that just happened last night. And most people have heard about people's opinions about game one of the Western Conference. But we'll go Eastern first, because that just happened recently. So in game one, the Miami Heat come out. And as always, Jimmy freaking Butler just has another outstanding performance. He had 35, I think, something close to that number. I was having a slight hard time paying attention that first half because of my roommate, who did not tell me he was coming back home tonight, and I was having to watch that dog. And sometimes that dog will not let me sit down and watch basketball peacefully. He has to be a bit annoying, but that's neither here or there. All right, so Jimmy Butler had 35, because he also had it was a crazy stat line. He had 35 points, 7 assists, and 6 steals. 6 steals. I feel like that's sort of pretty hard to do in the NBA. I mean, getting 1 or 2 steals is, pretty normal, but 6 steals, that's pretty crazy. So he was 12 of 25 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. He had 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and like I said, 6 steals. His other teammates, Bam Adebayo had 20. Gabe Vincent had 15. Max had 15. Duncan Robinson had 0. Caleb had 15, and Kyle Lowry had 15. As for the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum he still had a really good game. He had 30, but I felt like he didn't really do anything in that fourth quarter. I could be wrong. I just felt like he was he just sort of disappeared in that fourth quarter. Let me see if I can find that thing that told me he was not very good in the fourth quarter. Let's see. This is the 5th time in Jason Tatum's postseason career that he attempted 0 field goals in a quarter in a first and postseason. He didn't attempt a field goal in the fourth quarter. If you're humbly one of the best players in the world, like you said, you can't not take a shot in the fourth quarter. You have to take a shot. What are we doing, Tatum? What are we doing? You got to take a shot. Shoot the ball. LeBron James doesn't go going into the fourth quarter just not shooting the ball. Come on, man. I'm sure he realizes that, but come on, man. Let's see. Like I said, Tatum had 30, but again, he didn't shoot the ball in the fourth quarter. Marcus Smart had 13. Brown had 22. Malcolm Brogdon had 19. And then, let's see, White had 11. Boston shot 34% from 3. They shot 29 of them. And then the Heat were 16 at 31, which is, over 50% from 3. Which, if you shoot about 50% from 3, you're going to win a lot of ball games. I just thought the Boston Celtics really lost this game defensively. I just was they just really couldn't get a stop defensively. They just kept letting Miami to, score the basketball. They just couldn't get a stop. So, yeah. So it will be very interesting to see how the Celtics defend, or how they come out in game 2. If they defend a little bit better, if Jason Tatum will actually shoot the ball in the fourth quarter, stuff like that. So, maybe Miami steals another game at Boston going up 2-0. I mean, I doubt it, but, crazier things have happened in this playoff. So it'd be pretty crazy if, like, Miami, like, swept the Celtics. I mean, it'd be wild. And then we'd have to have like another, like First Take or, people on ESPN would start having like talks about like, is Jason Tatum actually good? He just got swept, which everybody in their careers have gotten swept in their lives. I think, like, if you really think about it, I think most NBA players, I don't think LeBron has yet, which is, or no, wait. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. No, no, wait. Yeah, he did. I thought he did. Hasn't he? He was swept by wasn't it like the Pistons or something? He got swept by somebody. I know he did. At least once. He got swept at least once. But, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody in the NBA has gotten swept once in their career. If you're, like, a talented player enough, you've been in the playoffs a lot of times, I'm pretty sure you've gotten swept playing at least once in your career. So now I'm kind of curious if LeBron has ever gotten swept. I'm almost positive he did. It was like, so his first time going to the finals, he got swept. And the next time he went to the finals in 2011, he lost to the Mavs. Then in 2012, he beat OKC. Then in 2013, they won in 7 games against the Spurs. Then the Spurs won in 2014 in 7 games. Wait, that can't be right. Wasn't there one year where the Spurs just absolutely, like, dominated them? Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. 2018. I forgot about that year. Damn, that was crazy. Yeah, he got his ass swept in 2018. Sheesh. Let's see. So, yeah, 2018, he went to the finals and got swept. Okay, so in 2007 and 2018, he got swept 2 times. Okay, now we have figured that out. All right, so now since we're on the LeBron topic, now we can talk about the Western Conference Finals. And here's some of my sort of thoughts about it. 1, Jokic is probably the best player in the NBA. 2, the Lakers need to find a way to slow down Joker. 3, LeBron James I feel like he needed to be a bit more aggressive, because they easily could have won that game. Because, like, Nuggets were absolutely choking that game away. I mean, it was just crazy how bad. Like, late in that fourth quarter, they were just willing to give that game away. It was just crazy. Crazy stuff. Anthony Davis had it pretty, like, he had a sneaky, like, 40-point game. Like, if you didn't really, like, notice how much dominant he was, like, showing, it's like, okay, wow, he just hit 40. Okay. Because, like, when he hit, like, that left corner, he was, like, at 35-ish, I think. It was something like, you're like, oh, crap, he's got 35? Dang, all right. So, I mean, so I think game 2-wise, I think the Lakers are actually favored in game 2, I think. Let me look here. If I can get something to load. Here we go. So tonight, if I can find the game now. Here we go. Yeah, the Nuggets are actually favored. I thought for some reason I must have misread it when I saw the spread today. So the Lakers are 5-point underdogs as of right now. So I think they should probably start Rui Hachimura, because I think if they start him and then put him on Jokic, that way Anthony Davis can sort of, like, be on help D, and that way he can, like, potentially, like, help with Rui blocking Jokic's shots. I mean, you're not gonna be able to slow down Jokic. He's one of the best players in the NBA right now. I think he truly might be the best player in the NBA. Obviously, we can, like, if somebody out there wants to say, oh, Chanler, LeBron, or Kevin, or, somebody else, like a friend of mine who's a Joel Embiid fan, he's like, he's the best player, he won MVP. Well, we might have to debate about that, because I think Jokic is better than Embiid, even though Embiid absolutely should have won MVP this year. He had a fantastic regular season, but once it comes to postseason time, he hasn't really performed all that well. I think he can admit it to himself, but maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. That's for him to decide if he wants to admit that Embiid always underachieves in the playoffs. And Jokic usually does pretty well in the playoffs. Now, last year and the year before that, when he won the MVPs, they haven't done that well. But yet again, he didn't have, like, last year, he didn't have Murray, and he didn't have someone else. Who was it? Was it Michael Porter Jr., I think? Yeah. So, I mean, you can't really do much even if you're Jokic and how great he is. You can't really expect him to carry. Plus, he had a bad matchup going up against the Golden State Warriors that year. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, yeah, Golden State was like taking, picking them apart in that series. So, anyways, so like I was sort of saying, I feel like that if the Nuggets, like, it's not really much. It's not really like a must win, but if it's a like, what's more of a better term for this game? For if the Nuggets would happen, because if they win, they go up 2, and it's like sort of gives them a bit of more confidence. So I feel like it's sort of like a not must needed, but like would really be awesome if they won tonight. That's basically what I'm saying. I think it would be a really cool thing if they won today. So, like, if you're a Nuggets player, like, it'd be like, hey, we want to win this game. But if we don't, it's not the worst thing in the world. We just go back to LA, steal a game there, and go from there. Because I do think Nuggets still win this series in 6. All right, let's see what is the other things I was going to talk about. I already forgot what was on my list. All right, so I think we covered all the games here. So let's move on. So some interesting news came out of some sports media. If you're not too familiar with them, Pat McAfee, who's a football player for the Indianapolis Colts, he was a punter, and now he does a talk show, sort of like a radio TV show-ish type of thing. He's always on YouTube, and he's been on it he's been doing it for roughly like 6 or 5 years now, I think. Pretty close to that number. I mean, he's been doing it a long time, and he's growing that brand, which is, it's great. And I haven't really watched his show in a while, which, I mean, it's a really good show. I really I enjoy watching these clips and all that. I just haven't had much of my time to like actually watch the show. And I love watching Pat's like stuff, and I think he does a great job with content wise, talk about sports, and does a great job with all the media stuff. So, like I was saying, Pat is now signed with ESPN. He'll be starting his ESPN deal this fall, and he will have a show after First Take. So his show will be on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and the YouTube channel, and on ESPN's YouTube channel. It's very exciting stuff. Now, a lot of people are happy about it, which I'm definitely probably one of those people that I'm happy about. Pat going to ESPN. I think it'd be a cool thing for ESPN to have Pat. It's like, I think it's sort of like we're moving forward into this sort of new wave of sports media. So I think it'd be really cool to see Pat on ESPN to sort of bring a new sort of light, or sort of like I don't know, what's another word for something new, because he always talks about he wants to appreciate sports. He wants to appreciate the athletes. He doesn't want to always make things negative. How sometimes sports talk shows do that, depending on the show, depending on the analysts or personalities. They want to be negative about something and always have a take about a certain player or something like that. He's not always about that, but I think it's really cool. I think obviously a lot of his fans are probably excited about him. Probably some fans that aren't thrilled about him going to ESPN and him being a sellout. Look, sometimes in life, you just got to do whatever is best for you and your future and your career. I would do the same thing if I was Pat McAfee. Dave sold out to Penn when Penn bought Barstool. I mean, Dave even said it. He's a sellout. So I guess you can say the same thing about Pat. He's a sellout. Everybody's a sellout. If you're gonna get paid a lot of money to do what you're doing, if you're getting paid a lot of money to do what you're still doing, but you're just having to do it somewhere else, who cares? You're getting paid a lot of money to do the same thing you've been doing. Now, I think he what was the tweet about it? So I think I was seeing a tweet about, or he was talking about it in a video he made about it. So let me see if I can find it. Front office sports. Let's see. Here we go. So So the program will run. He will remain full control, creativity control. So Pat will still control all of whatever he wants to talk about. Not changing in a format, so it will follow after Get Up and or First Take. He won't be able to say the F word as much as he nearly does, which is normal, because you're on television, it's daytime, so you can't really say the F word as much. And so, like I said, it will be on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and the ESPN YouTube. So, yeah. And also, he'll still be on, I think he'll be on College Game Day now that he's like a full-time employee, which he was sort of still doing. Well, I think he was still going to do even with or without him being on ESPN. So, I'm very excited for Pat. I'm very excited about Pat's future with ESPN. I think it'll be really cool to see how Pat's future goes with ESPN. So, it'll be very fun stuff to see him in this fall, especially with football, because he mainly talks about football, which is sort of in his wheelhouse. All right, so let's talk about the NBA lottery. So, congratulations to the San Antonio Spurs on getting Victor Wembanyama. Whoop-de-freaking do. Now, I think this is a great spot for him, obviously, because you still got Greg Popovich, which we can have a little talk about that in just a moment. The Spurs have had a great organization. They've had some really good players. They developed players really well in the past with Kawhi, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Ginobili, Tony Parker. The list goes on and on about really doing a great job of developing players. So here's my thing about this. One, I have a family friend that is a Spurs fan. He was just happy as heck, which absolutely you should be when you get Victor Wembanyama to go to your team. And we all are expecting him to be one of the greatest prospects, greatest players who have ever played. The most hype this hype that he's about to get. Very, 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 very interesting to see if he lives up to this hype that we're all expecting him to be, because he's 7'5" with the wingspan of 7'7", and man's just crazy. Man's crazy. If you watch some of the highlights, and I'm sure a lot of people either have seen the highlights or maybe actually got a chance to actually watch one of his games, you'll see that he actually has all the skill sets to be I feel like he's in a sense, he's basically another version of Giannis, I feel like, but with just better shooting skills wise, I should say, I guess, maybe. I don't know. That's how I'm sort of getting at with Victor Wembanyama from France. Oh, sorry. Victor Wembanyama. I'm pretty excited to see him in the NBA. I think he when he gets drafted by the Spurs, he'll be the first, when the new season comes around, it'll be the first game on ESPN. He'll be it'll be the primetime game. It'll be San Antonio versus whoever, I guess, maybe it'll be whoever wins the championship will probably have to play the Spurs. That way we can get the champions versus the number one pick overall, and everybody just get to watch both. Be okay. So it'll be watch it be Denver versus Victor Wembanyama. So, I was really rooting for him to go to Portland. I think that would have been really cool, because that way, it would have give the Portland the chance to tell them, hey, we just got the best player in the world. We just got the best, sort of greatest NBA prospect ever, I guess you could say. You could say the same about LeBron when he was coming out of high school, but anyways, yeah, I would have loved to see him at Portland. Would have loved to see him in Indiana, Charlotte. Even Charlotte needs some. They need some stars. They need some bit more relevancy, because no one really ever talks about Charlotte besides LaMelo Ball. I couldn't even name you another player or on Charlotte besides LaMelo. Is it PJ? It's PJ Washington still on the Hornets? That's how irrelevant they are. I can name you two players minimum. LaMelo, PJ. Is Gordon Hayward still on Charlotte? I think he is. Oh my God. Now that I think about it, I think he still is. Jeez. What happened to him? Oh, man. Who else is on Charlotte? Oh, man. Now I'm going to be doing this myself. All right. So we got Gordon Hayward, LaMelo, PJ Washington. Who else would? Oh, who was that kid that came out of UConn last year? It was like, oh, gosh. What's his name? There's him. Who else is on Charlotte? Just sort of trying to think on the top of my head. Oh gosh, it's I'm still thinking of like all the old Charlotte players, like Mason Plumlee and Dwight Howard when he was playing for Charlotte. God, I think those are the only players I can think of. Like if I look up Charlotte's roster right now, let's see. Charlotte Hornets. Here we go. Let's see who's on the roster. Oh, Kelly Olynyk. Or no. Kelly Oubre. No, not Kenny Olynyk. He's on the what team is he on? Kelly Oubre, Gordon. Oh, Terry Rozier. He's okay. Mark Williams. Okay, I remember him. PJ Washington. Dennis Smith Jr. is on there. Oh, James. What's his name? So James Knight. Okay. Yeah, he's from UConn. Okay. TJ Thor. I did not know he was on there. Kai Jones out of Texas. Okay, I remember him from Texas. I didn't know he was on. Oh, Cody Martin. Is that okay? Hold on. Let me make sure there's actual like roster because that just looks like that's what the internet says. Okay, here we go. So we got Gordon Hayward, Kai Jones, Cody Martin. The other Martin twin is on the Heat. What's that? Oh, is that what was the other Martin's name? There's Cody, and then is it Cody? Or is it, it's Caleb. Who else we got? We've got the guy from Kansas. I can never hardly say his name. Kelly Oubre Jr. Let's see, Kobe Smith, Dennis Smith, Xavier Sneed, Mark Williams. I mean, yeah, I got 2 Kansas players. I forgot he went to Kansas. So, yep. All right. So now you know. Now everybody knows more players on the Charlotte Hornets, even if you didn't want to hear it, but now you do. Okay. Moving on from that conversation. Let's see. Oh, so Doc Rivers is officially or has been officially fired. When I was recording on Monday night and then published it on Tuesday, the episode that I was talking about Doc Rivers being fired, he got fired the next morning. So we're all not shocked. I mean, he just keeps a bit underachieving in the playoffs here recently. Now, is it all on him? Probably not. I feel like some of it's on the players too, but who else? Who are you gonna play? I mean, somebody's got to take the blame, and it's always the coaches. It's never hardly ever the players' fault, Now, if we want to go more deep into this whole Sixers conversation, because I've been having a sort of a slight debate with my Sixers friend, who's, or I guess, sort of a Sixers fan, but is also an MB guide. So I've been telling him, like, look, you're not going to get. I don't think James Harden's coming back. 1. Doc Rivers should have been fired. 3. Embiid is like one of the most like underachieving superstars in the postseason. Like he just simply does not do well. Like he just always underachieves in the postseason. Like he's so dominant when he wants to be. But once it comes like the postseason, I was probably saying this about too in the previous episode about how Embiid's just not a number 1 guy when it comes to once it comes to postseason time. I feel like he's just not going to be a number 1 guy for you. Like he'll be a number 2, but I think they need a number 1 guy. And I was saying that to him, I think James Harden's he's not that guy anymore. He's just simply not. And we all respect his game. We all remember the good old days when he was probably one of the best one-on-one players to ever play, but he's just not that guy anymore. Now, granted, he did win 2 games for them, but yeah, you won 2 games. You got to win 4. So really, he should have been helping you win the other 2 games. So now, sure, they got to a game 7, but they blew the other 2 games. So They should have won Game 6, and then they got their asses whooped in Game 7. So, like I said, I feel like it's sort of a mess down there, or not down there, but over there in Philadelphia, with having to make some future decisions on one, who is going to be the head coach. Because if you're going to bring in somebody, it better be somebody who's got experience of actually getting past the second round. So, I mean, you could bring in like Mike Budenholzer or Nick Nurse or Mine Williams, who actually, those three have been to actual NBA finals. Now, granted, Doc Rivers did, but he hasn't been there since 2010, I think. And he hasn't even gone past like the second round in forever. So, like I said, I'm sure Doc Rivers will get another head coaching job soon. I'm sure he'll get hired by like who still needs a head coach? The Suns do, but I doubt he'll go to the Suns. The Bucks do. I could see him ending up in the Bucks for some reason. Who else? Well, the Raptors. Maybe even the Raptors. I could see Doc ended up with either the Raptors or the Bucks for some reason. They just seem like a franchise that would give him another chance. I'm trying to think of if there's like another like sort of like bad team out there that would take him in, or if he even would want to go to a bad team. I think all the bad teams coaches have been. Or wait, has Detroit hired a coach? I feel like I don't even think Detroit's hired a coach yet. Has the Pistons hired a coach yet? Let's see. Let's find out if the Pistons have hired a coach yet. I think that'd be kind of a cool spot for him. That way he could just lay low for a little while and not having to be worried about somebody. Let's see. Detroit basketball. Let's see. Coach. Yeah, I don't think they haven't hired a coach yet, so. They should probably figure that out here pretty soon, I would think, right? So, yeah. All right, so yeah. Let's see what else. Oh, Dwight Howard started talking smack about some of the players that have been sort of underachieving, and he keeps posting videos. He's like, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, James Harden, a couple other like guys that are been slightly overachieving to come to Taiwan with them. It's like, brah, they're still better than you. Like, I respect the trolling. It's really funny, but like, come on, man. No, like, even, I mean, you can take Dylan Brooks, but we can't be sending Klay Thompson over there to Taiwan. He's still got game. Come on, man. It's funny as hell. Don't get me wrong. But like, come on, man. Jordan Poole, Dylan Brooks, CP3, come to Thailand, man. Come on. Come on, man. I don't know. Either way, that's funny. And then some interesting stuff happening with not interesting, but one, Martha Stewart is going to be on the cover, or at least I think there might be multiple people on the cover. But anyway, Martha Stewart's in the Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Model Edition, which is kind of cool. And I had no idea how old she was. I generally thought she was like probably, I mean, I knew she was getting up there in age, but like I had no idea she was like 81 years old. I mean, dang, for being 81, she looks pretty good for looking 81 years old. Not too bad for her age. I mean, she's looking pretty good. For being 81, she's looking pretty good. Not going to lie. She looks great for being an 81-year-old woman. I mean, there's not a whole lot of 81-year-old women out there that looking great for their age. So, I mean, for her age, that looks great. So, I mean, plus, I mean, I'm sure she's probably like the oldest woman to ever been on the cover or even on the edition. And who's even on the cover? Is it like, hold on, let me just look it up real quick. 2023 swimsuit edition. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. We're going to meet the 28 girls are going to be featured on the 2023 swimsuit edition. Martha Stewart is one of them. Megan Fox. Hello, Megan. We've got Kem Pitas. Is that how you say your name? Brooks Nader. Olivia Polton. Christina Happert. I believe she's dating Jared Goff. Let's see. Oh, I gotta click on continue. Sorry, continue. We got. I'm sorry if I'm gonna butcher this one, but Yumi Nun and Lila Blooms. Oh boy. Oh gosh, how do you say this one? How do you say your name? Melissa Woods Teppa Berg. Oh boy, they got some of these girls have got some tough names to say. Pama Leska, or no, Lake Simink. I don't know. What kind of name is this? 16? Nicole Williams English. Kimmy Crawford. Georgina Burks. Jasmine, or is it Jasmine? I'm going to go, no. Jasmine Sanders. Let's see, Laura Dern. Olivia Dern. She's an LSU girl. Maddie Dewey. God, some of these people have some tough names. Ellie Truman. Katie Austin. Oh, that's Gronk's girlfriend. Haley Carlson. Lauren Chan. Angel Reese, another LSU person. She's the LSU basketball woman. Forgot about it. She was going to be on the issue this year. So 2 LSU people. Wow. Who would have thought? So yeah. Anything else I wanted to mention? I feel like that because I covered all the things I put it into my notes to cover it on this episode. Let's see. So here's a funny story. So the other day I wanted to buy a video game, and I haven't really bought a video game in a really long time because I'm not really much of an active gamer like I used to be. So the other day I wanted to buy 2K23, and I didn't really buy it when the first time it come around. It's, like I said, I'm not really much of an active gamer like I used to be. So I got it. So I used my Target app to go buy it. Or no, wait. I used Target app to see if it was available. So then I went to Target to go buy it. So then I went to the game where, the electronics section, and I saw it, and I saw in the PS aisle, right? So I got it. So I got there and I asked for the dude to, grab it for me. So then I got that, and then I came back home, was ready to play for it. Then I was like, oh wait, there's an NBA game on. So the next day, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play it. So I take the disc out, I put it in, and I turn on my PS and stuff like that. And I was like, that's weird. It's not like loading. So then I take the disc out to put it back in, make sure it was like reading or something. Then I saw that the label on the CD said PS5. You're probably asking yourself, well, what's the problem then? I don't have a PS5. I still have the PS4. I was like, son of a gun. I bought the PS5 game. So then yesterday, I had to go buy the actual PS version, the PS4 version of 2K23, which again, I guess I'd spent a total of $40 on 2 games for the same game. So once I do buy the PS5, which I have no idea if I'm ever going to buy the PS5, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. I guess now I'll have 2K23 for the PS5 when I have the chance to buy it someday. So yeah, that was just one of those moments where because like here's the thing, I went to the PS5 section, or not the PS5 section, but I just went to the PS where all the PS games were, the PlayStation games, I should say, and I was like, okay, there it is, I can just grab it. Didn't even cross my mind to look and to make sure it said PS4, not PS5. So that was like one of those like dumb moments where, next time I buy a game, I'm going to make sure it says PS4 and not PS5. So yeah. Anything else I wanted to mention or at least talk about? So I think I did want to mention this now that I thought about it. I thought that the What's Bugging Chan segment was actually pretty solid. So I'll have to keep coming up with something that keeps bugging me. I think the segment went pretty well. I mean, the same thing that's still bugging me is happening right now because yesterday I was on a phone call with my mother. She was just wondering how the process, how the job process was going. It's like, it's going, I'm applying and just having to wait back from people's interview with and all that other stuff. So I applied to at least like 4 or 5 jobs, just waiting to hear back from people to see if they'll hire me or at least give me a job interview. So like I said, I'll keep everybody updated about that. See if your boy gets a job or not, because your boy needs a job here pretty soon. So yeah. Let's see. Anything else I should mention on the top of my head? I don't know, but just sort of looking out my window, I've seen some reflections. The roommate has still not come back. It is 12 in the afternoon. He still hasn't texting me, which I'm sure he's just assuming that he knows that he's at his girlfriend's house. Which again, he could have just told me or just texting me saying, "Hey, I'm going to my girlfriend's house. We'll be back until in the afternoon." I'm like, okay, but he just doesn't do that sometimes. He's a goofball, I tell you. I can't wait to move out. I don't have to deal with this. His head ass. Let's see. Anything else? I think that's really pretty much it I can sort of think about. So I guess with that being said, I appreciate everybody listening. Make sure, like I keep telling everybody in every episode, make sure you subscribe, listen to the podcast, tell your friends about it, follow us on social media. We're on all the social media platforms we're on under the Tweet Show Podcast. So just, if you look in the episode descriptions, you can find the link to it and then click the link and then go from there. So, like I said, I appreciate everybody listening.